The Spurs are the real deal. The Spurs prove that they are the real team in the West tonight with their dominant win over the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, I told you it was personal between Wemby and Gobert, and I wasn't lying. Wemby made it a point to show Gobert he can be the defensive player of the year and also the MVP at the same time. What's good, Spurs Digest family? I'm Bryan Colbert Jr. here with immediate reaction to the Spurs win over the Minnesota Timberwolves, beating them 103-113 at home in San Antonio. And you saw Frost Bank was rocking it. Spurs Digest family, I know you guys are always rocking, whether you're in San Antonio or not. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We are just a few away from 2K, baby. Yes, we are almost at 2,000 subscribers, and we love each and every one of y'all. And we thank you all so much for being with us and riding with us. Man, listen, I'm making y'all a post-game video out from New York City. I stayed up, made sure I watched the game, and I'm in my hotel room, but that does not stop the action. You see, I don't even have a table to put my mic on. I'm going to just hold it and hope my arm doesn't get tired. You might see me switching it left and right, but we do it all for y'all, Spurs Digest family. So let's get right into the game. Let's get right into the game, man. What a win. It was a big win, and we have a few things that we are looking for. The first thing that we noticed from this game was the dominance of our defense. Our defense came in and took care of business. Wemby showed that he could play on both ends of the court as he's done all season. Yes, he's had a few little no slumpy type games. However, Wemby and this defense came to play without a doubt. 6 steals for our Spurs, 7 for the Minnesota Timberwolves. We're going to want to see that cleaned up, but I am looking at those 5 blocks and forcing 13 turnovers for the Minnesota Timberwolves. We told you, if we wanted to win this game, it was going to be a defensive effort for our guys, and that's what it was, a defensive effort for the team. You love seeing that because this Minnesota Timberwolves team, they're still trying to figure out their identity after losing Karl-Anthony Towns. However, remember, this is one of the best teams in the West last year, with the Spurs being one of the worst. However, it did not matter, and big shout out to Chris Paul, showing that he can be more than just a leader, more than just a facilitator for this team. He can also be a scorer. And I've been saying that, right? I've been saying that was the key to the Spurs' success this year, is Chris Paul showing that he can make an effort to score. And that's not always something you want to put on a guy that's, 21 years in to the league. However, Chris Paul being able to shoot, being able to score, and being able to still be effective from that mid-range, it keeps the defense honest. Because you were seeing on them games where he wasn't really shooting, the defense was sagging off of him, and it was getting very, very crowded down there for guys like Victor. The way Chris Paul's able to score on like all 3 levels still to this day is allowed the game to open up so much more for not just Wemby, but for everybody on the court. And it's been huge to see Chris Paul do these things. It's been huge to see Chris Paul be able to play this role for this team. And I mean, he's just been a vocal leader. You could tell Popovich loves him, but him being more of an aggressive scorer for this team, it has been huge. It has been a massive thing for this team, and we love seeing it. We love seeing this guy be able to just score and just go about his business after all of these years. I don't think anybody expected a lot from Chris Paul. Even when I was asking him to score a little more, it wasn't me thinking that he was going to be somebody that was leading this team in scoring. But dang, he got pretty darn close. 15 points. 15 points for Chris Paul in 33 minutes, but it was an efficient 15 points, 5 of 9 from the field, and 13 assists. This guy has done it for so long, but he is still playing at a high level. I was watching this game and thinking like, man, could Chris Paul be an all-star this year? With the way that the Spurs fans show up, the way that the Spurs fans love their players, I could really see Chris Paul getting an absurd amount of votes for all-star. But if he's playing like this, if he's getting double-doubles, pushing triple-doubles, 4 rebounds, my guy, like, he looks good and he looks strong. And if the Spurs are winning, there's going to be a case for him to really get all-star votes, which is crazy to even think about with this team. But it's been great to see Chris Paul play, and we just need to keep seeing him do it. It doesn't need to stop. He needs to continue to be able to score for this team because it opens up this offense so much, and it's so necessary for this offense, and it's so necessary for this guy, Victor Wembanyama. Oh my goodness, guys. We told you it was personal, and I believe it. Every time Gobert was on him, Wemby was trying to, go between the legs and hit step back threes and just show like, hey, guys, this guy really isn't that great defensively. He can't even guard me. And that is what Wemby did. And he did it early. He was aggressive. He had something to prove. And yes, it's personal, but there's also a respect there, right? Like there's a respect there, but Wemby knows what he's here to do. He is here to become the next defensive player of the year. And in order to do that, you have to show up when you play the current reigning guy. But what makes Wemby so effective is his ability to do it on both ends of the court. 17 points for every 7 for 15. He's still struggling to find that shot. Boy, when it drops, it sure looks good. 1 for 7 from the 3. That's something he's going to clean up. I promise you. That's something that, I think a lot of times you see a big man and you're like, stop shooting. I don't think you want to ask Wemby to do that. That's what makes him so lethal. That's what makes him so effective. It's his ability to play on all levels of the court. So you want him to keep shooting. You want that to keep being a threat because it forces guys like Gobert to get out of the paint or guys like Randall to have to guard him and get out there. And it really becomes a matchup nightmare. Still 6 rebounds, still 2 blocks. Just a great game for Wemby. Yes, you look at 17 points and say, is that enough? It's enough when you have guys like Keldon Johnson coming off the bench and doing work, putting in work. My guy, Keldon Johnson, man, you got to just love watching this kid play. 25 points, 8 rebounds off the bench. Oh, my gosh, and 0 turnovers. Just an effective game. 3 points from the three field goals made from the 3-point line, 3 for 8, 10 of 17. Keldon just, oh my gosh, in this role, Keldon just looks so great. And it's on both ends of the ball. I mean, I don't know if it's the weight cut. I don't really know what it is, but man, he looks so good defensively this year. I don't think enough's being made of what he's been able to do defensively. And then, of course, offensively, 25 points. We know he's a bucket getter. We know he can do this. And just in this role where he's able to come off the bench, be a spark plug, be effective, but also play in these closing lineups. You saw Pop has him on his most important lineups. When he needs energy, when he needs a run, Keldon Johnson is on the court. And I've just loved seeing him be able to play in this type of offense and like in this type of role for him. It's just such a better role for him. And we talked about it coming into the season. We told you he's going to have a season because this is where he plays his most effective basketball, being able to play on the perimeter, not having to play in the post so much. Yes, he can really play the 1 through 5 and is asked to do a lot of things. But when he is asked to get the ball on that perimeter, put the ball on the court and be a perimeter scorer, he has shown that he is most effective for this team. And I've loved it. I've loved to see what Keldon Johnson has been able to do so far this season. And honestly, we had a little poll that asked who was going to be our leading scorer. And I wasn't sure if I could vote because I didn't want to sway votes or anything like that. But I was going to say Keldon Johnson 100% because, Wemby's just the easy one to do. So I think everybody wants to go and like vote something else. But I mean, I was going to say Keldon Johnson in this game because bench scoring is crucial for this team. It's crucial for this team. You're not really getting it anywhere else. Like, you know what I mean? Like Malachi's up and down, Zach's up and down, and Keldon is consistent. Keldon is consistent as he gets, and he is somebody that just wants to play basketball. He is a bucket getter, and he is a dog. Even with losing the weight, man, he's so strong out there. He doesn't back down to nobody, and oh my gosh, man, I just love watching Keldon Johnson play the game of basketball, and I think Popovich loves it too, and I really think he's found a role on this team. We're looking at this guy and saying, he was going to be a trade piece. And, with numbers like this, he could very well much be. But however, having a guy like this that can score off the bench, I mean, he's so valuable. Yes, he makes a good amount of money. However, Keldon to me is just somebody that like you want on a playoff team. You want on a team that needs to go deep into the playoffs and make runs. And that's what the Spurs team's trying to do. They're trying to learn how to win basketball games. And Keldon Johnson, he knows how to win basketball games. 113-103, your final score. The Spurs winning at home over the Minnesota Timberwolves. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a big win. It's a big win against a Minnesota team that went deep into the playoffs. A Minnesota team that has a future star in Anthony Edwards. Yet Anthony Edwards did okay, but he didn't go off. He didn't make them look crazy. You know what I'm saying? They were able to keep him to just 21 points, 8 for 17. He didn't have his superstar-studded Anthony Edwards night we were expecting him to have, and that was a lot to do with this tenacious defense that the Spurs teams play. And at the very end of the game, Chris Paul was doing his post-game interview, and he said it. He said, this Spurs team is good. People don't realize that we're good, but this Spurs team is good. And I think that we've talked about that a lot on Spurs Digest. I think we were a little ahead of the curve on how good the Spurs team really was. No, we never told you guys that these guys are going to be making a championship run or nothing like that. But we told you that this Spurs team is going to come out and compete every single game, and that these veterans in Harrison Barnes and Chris Paul were going to make a difference. And that is what we've seen so far. We have seen that from the Spurs team, and this is a scary Spurs team. You have one of the best players in the league. Yes, that's what Victor is. He's probably already top 15, top 20 in the NBA already, as it stands today. And then you add these good pieces, and you have guys like Keldon really going to be pushing for that 6 Man of the Year award. You have somebody like Chris Paul, who's out to show he still got it. Y'all talk so much about LeBron James and what he's doing, but Chris Paul is still out there doing it at a high level as well. And I think he takes pride in showing that. And we're seeing that not only as an assist guy, but also as a scorer, which is so crucial for this team. Man, what a great win. 103-113. Spurs get it at home with the win in San Antonio. We love to see it. I was so excited I had to make this video right from my hotel room in New York City. You can see the city behind me, but we are going to be doing this all season for you guys. Even if we are on the road, even if we're at the airport, we will make videos for you guys because we just love our Spurs Digest family. Again, make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you share, make sure you comment. How y'all feeling right now? Y'all feeling good as y'all stay up and watch this win? Are y'all feeling good? Where are y'all at watching these Spurs? I know there's people all around the world that are Spurs fans and are excited about this. We love seeing you guys in the comments. And until next time, Spurs family, I'm Bryan Colbert from out here in New York, turned up about this Spurs win over the Minnesota Timberwolves. Until next time, I'm out.